Malacañang Press Corps. Welcome sa regular press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque. Sir, welcome natin yung local leaders from Ifugao
I welcome po our visitors from Ifugao, no?
and ASEC Banag.
And ASEC Banag, the guests of our ever beautiful ASEC Banag, no?
Yes.
Yes, let me start with the good news, Monday good news. On the DBP's Medium and Small Scale Industry Program, we are pleased to announce that the Development Bank of the Philippines launched two new programs, the DBP Small Business Purchase Loan and the DBP Broiler Contract Growing to support our micro, small, and medium enterprises sectors. According to DBP, the Small Business Puhunan Loan Program provides permanent working capital from as low as 300,000 to as high as 1 million to MSMEs with existing accounts either with DBP or other banks. The Broiler Contract Growing Program under the DBP Sustainable Agribusiness Finance Corporation, on the other hand, facilitates the financing through faster loan processing of poultry broiler contract growing projects, encourage our contract growers to expand their businesses. No? Another good news, we're pleased to announce that the Philippine Fiber Industry Development Authority reported an increase of 16.4% on the abaca shipment export revenues, which amounted to $59.832 million in the period January to May 2017, compared from the same period in 2016. The PhilFIDA also recorded an increase in the total volume of abaca pulp export by 12.5%, reaching 9,654 metric tons in January to May 2017 compared to 8,577 metric tons in 2016. In addition, the total abaca fiber export grew by 33% with 7,077.75 metric tons during the 5-month period compared from 5,311.25 metric tons in the previous year. Now, let me make a clarification. The current foreign policy with China is for issues which are non-contentious, such as investments and trade, to proceed as soon as possible, and for contentious issues, such as the South China Sea, to proceed on the basis of bilateral negotiations. I confirm we have protested not only the building of the islands, but also the alleged militarization of the islands, and therefore, contrary to claims of critics, we have long protested the military use of the artificial islands in the South China Sea. Now, contentious issues concerning the South China Seas are discussed in what is known as a bilateral consultation mechanism on the South China Sea, and the second meeting of this Philippine-China bilateral consultation mechanism on the South China Sea will be held here in Manila tomorrow, February 13, 2018. The BCM, bilateral consultation mechanism, was established based on the joint statement issued after President Duterte's landmark visit to China in October 2017. The purpose of this BCM is to discuss issues of concern to either side and cooperation in the South China Sea and identify mutually acceptable approaches towards addressing these issues. So we are not being soft on China. There are ongoing bilateral talks as far as contentious South China Sea issues are concerned. The BCM is conducted at the level of DFA Undersecretary and Chinese Vice Foreign Minister and is to be held once every 6 months. We were busy last December and hence it was postponed for this month of February. The Chinese delegation will be led by Vice Foreign Minister Kong Suan Yu, while the Philippine delegation will be led by DFA and the Secretary for Policy, Enrique Manalo. Now, let me announce too that the Executive Secretary has formally informed Mr. Jose Gabriel M. Lavinia Pompi, as well as Mr. Amado D. Valdez, that their term of office, both of which expired 30 June 2017 as commissioners of the SSS, will not be renewed. The appointments of Mr. Jose Gabriel M. Lavinia Pompi and Mr. Amado D. Valdez as commissioners of SSS will not be renewed when they expire on 30 June 2017. No reason given. Yes. Well, anyway, it's expiration of term and no renewal. Now, on Kuwait, we are also pleased to announce that around 400 repatriated Filipinos from Kuwait arrived in Manila this morning. They belong to the first batch of Filipinos who have been allowed to leave after applying for amnesty in Kuwait. They include kababayans who have overstayed or escaped from their employers. Those who opt for repatriation from Kuwait will be given 5,000 financial assistance and a further 20,000 assistance for alternative livelihood. The missions all over the Middle East in particular have been instructed to find alternative employment for our kababayans who have opted for voluntary repatriation from Kuwait. We're particularly keen on finding alternative employment in countries such as Oman and Bahrain, both of which are signatories to the relevant ILO conventions that protects migrant workers. Questions, please.
Questions? Joseph Morong.
Sir, sa SSS, the term expired June last year or
June 30, 27, considering the term for Mr. Lavinia, his term of office expired on June 30, 2017. And because you have been serving in the SSC in a holdover capacity, may we inform you that upon instructions of the President, your service in the SSC is hereby discontinued effective immediately. Now, for Mado Valdez, the same thing. Considering that your term of office expired on 30 June 2017 and that you have since been serving in the SSE in a holdover capacity, may we inform you that upon instructions of the President, your service in the SSC is hereby discontinued effective immediately.
of course reason, presidential prerogative.
Presidential prerogative.
Sir, may kapalit na.
Wala pang announcement, but we also make the announcements of the replacements.
Alright, go. Yun muna, sir. Thank you.
Okay, follow-up sa SSS. Other issue, Pia.
Sir, the protest, are you saying we filed a new protest? Just a new
No,
protest?
there's been a protest filed ever
So you're not
since.
confirming any new
There's no
diplomatic
new protest because there's been basically we have protested the military what has been described as militarization or the stationing of military hardware in the artificial islands.
Follow-up on China. Philip Tebesa.
So, sir, there's going to be a meeting tomorrow. Are you going to raise that issue about the...
All these issues relevant to the South China Sea are being discussed in this mechanism.
How will the government raise it in the committee?
As I said, we've had this established mechanism. This is already the second meeting. It's held every 6 months.
Follow-up. Oh, sige. China. Ina Andolong.
Good morning, sir. Just a clarification. Yung protest, has the Duterte administration filed a protest about the...
The Philippine government has consistently filed protests, and even during the term of President Duterte, we have filed protests. In fact, tomorrow, if you want, I will bring the list of protests. Okay?
Okay.
Just to set the record straight that we have been protesting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Okay, may follow-up pa sa China.
If not tomorrow, I may not be here tomorrow. On Thursday, definitely on Thursday.
Rosalie Cos. Microphone, please. Thank you, Joseph.
Sir, good morning. Pinapatanong lang po ni Adisel, yung pong BCM, do you think it's just an exercise in futility considering the continuous militarization of China in South China Sea?
No, it's being discussed seriously in the BCM.
Follow-up, Joseph.
So why the emphasis now?
Well, it's really not an emphasis. It's just a matter of informing the public that the mechanism has been in existence. And in response to claims that we're not doing anything,
Okay.
we are doing what the government has deemed best to be done. Again, the policy is for non-contentious issues of trade and investment, full speed ahead. For contentious issues, bilateral negotiations.
Okay, no more sa China. Pia.
Sir, are you saying that as long as the BCM is functioning, the Philippines will not file any diplomatic protest because it's going to use this avenue for such a
No,
purpose?
not necessarily. All I'm saying is we've protested what was reportedly what was presented as news, which is the alleged militarization. That has been protested.
Sir, the Secretary of National Defense recently said that we should consider protesting the new build-up based on the photos that were published.
Well,
Are you saying that
I do not know if
anything will be
that's new
forthcoming?
build-up. It has been there. What the news reported is that it's been completed, see? So it has been protested. The fact that there are military hardware in the islands have been protested.
Can we expect another protest given the
I do not know
continuation of the military build-up?
if another protest is necessary because ours is in the nature of a continuing protest. And take note that even in the bilateral between the Chinese president and President Duterte in Vietnam, it was raised also the issue of the fear, particularly by ASEAN countries, that there is militarization in the South China Sea, which China denied.
Okay, friendly reminder, may flight si Secretary. Other issue? Other issue? Philip Tebesa.
Sir, good morning again. Attorney Jude Sabio is saying that he fears for his life after nagsimula pa yung preliminary examination ng ICC sa information na final niya.
We don't feel threatened by the complaint. If there is any fear,
Sir,
we don't feel threatened by his complaint, which has been our position.
He fears for his life, sir. Sabi niya.
Well, kaya nga sasagutin ko kayo eh. We don't put much importance to his complaint. We have no ill will against him. We know it will not proceed beyond preliminary examination. Let's make sure that if there's a threat, then he should report it to the police. If there's a threat, go file a writ of amparo. That's the remedy.
Sir, he's saying na the preliminary examination will be finished within the year. Do you see a similar situation?
Good luck. Colombia has been under preliminary examination for 13 years. 13 years.
1-3. Thank you, sir.
Follow up? Other issue? Ted Tevera.
Secretary, the President previously said that he will be asking China's help in securing the livelihood of OFWs from Kuwait. How will the President or how will the government act on this, sir?
Well, among others, I think the Labor Secretary is finalizing the mechanism by which we can deploy workers to China as an alternative destination. So that's being worked out, and hopefully there will be a bilateral agreement soon.
Okay. Other issue? Joseph? Okay.
I'd like to pick up on what the president said last week, that he had foreign intelligence saying something about Ms. Loida and ICC. Medyo fragmented yung sentence. Can you fill in the blanks for us? Sabi niya, he knew of the impending announcement of the ICC, which should have happened on Tuesday, pero nangyari siya ng Thursday or Friday. What does the president insinuate about it?
I can't annotate on what the president has said. Let's take the president's statement on its face value.
This is the third time that he had said that foreign intelligence has been supplying information on several topics. Number one, kay Senator Trillanes, as far as the bank accounts go. Number two, Senator De Lima's involvement in the drug war. And this is the latest one. Of course, you will not be able to tell us who the foreign government is.
Definitely not.
But is there an issue about a foreign government supplying intelligence to the president?
No, really, that's part of our bilateral relations. No, we share information with many of our friends.
But this is curious because this alleged foreign government is only, well, at least that's what the president announced, supplying information with regard to opposition figures.
Again, I wish I were privy to the information, but I'm sure it's only given to the president.
But how do we? Some say, is it true that how do we prove, aside from the president announcing it, how do we prove that such exists?
I have no basis to doubt the president's words.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Last question, Vivian. Microphone, please.
Sir, just 2 points. On the total deployment ban
Yes.
on OFWs in Kuwait, does it cover all jobs or just for domestic workers? And how is the palace what is the palace's response to the family of the Pinay found in a freezer, asking for justice, and on the NFA, the order to, or the palace's decision to allow the importation of rice for NFA. Some groups are saying that it is detrimental to local farmers.
Let me address the last point first. We don't know the decision yet because my last conversation with Secretary Ibasco, who will himself have his own press conference, is that he has yet to confirm the verbal order of the President authorizing the standby importation of 250,000 metric tons. No? His earlier position is that this is no longer necessary because there's 325 importation arriving within the month because of the minimum access volume, no? MAV. So Secretary Ibasco, I'm sure, will announce whether or not he has confirmed that there will be a further 250,000 metric ton importation in his press conference in a few minutes. No? Now, on the total ban, well, I'm made to understand that the ban is for all deployment of workers to Kuwait. As to the need for justice, we will hold Kuwait responsible under the concept of state responsibility. Kuwait, under international law, has a legal obligation to provide legal redress for the victims, Filipino victims of these horrendous crimes in Kuwait. And of course, if Kuwait fails in this regard, then it will incur international responsibility for an internationally wrongful act.
Okay, sorry sir. Last question, Ina.
Go ahead.
Sir, doon po sa question ni Joseph, follow-up lang. Did the President admit to listening to illegally wiretapped conversations?
No, he
in
did
saying
not.
that, kasi sabi niya, merong binibigay and he knew about the conversation.
No, he did not. What I heard him say is that intelligence reports given to him. So it doesn't mean that he was privy to intercepted phone conversations.
But sometime in September last year, sir, his quote was, they're tapped. Patungkol naman po doon sa Mayor Mabilog, Jed Mabilog, I believe. And,
Again, I will reiterate
narco-politicians.
what he said. No, he was given intelligence by foreign countries. That's all I can confirm.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Sorry. Isa lang daw.
So yung sa Kuwait, yung ban is for new hires, no? Wala na tayong bagong papupuntahin. Tama?
Yes, that is. I
But do we
understand.
expect parang retaliation from, hopefully not, no? May mga existing contracts in Kuwait who might feel strongly, or Kuwaitis who might feel strongly against this policy of the administration, such that they baka ibunton dun sa mga existing contracts ng mga tao natin dun?
Let's just say that the president is very carefully weighing our options as far as Kuwait is concerned. What I do know is that the conversation that happened before the announcement of the total ban included other agenda, no? But right now, I'd rather desist from announcing it while the president has yet to make a formal announcement.
Nag-firm up na ba sir yung schedule sa Kuwait?
I do not even know if that will push through.
Oh, why?
I do not know. That's under consideration now.
All right, cool.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque.
Thank you. And I will not be with you, but we will have remote press briefing tomorrow. If necessary, we will have press briefing on Wednesday instead of Thursday. Okay? Thank you. See you.
Okay. Back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.
Presto number 2.